cannot start the video because the host has stopped it. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. So we're going to restart the Ethereum Bangkok sessions. And I think we have Charles with us on the call. Charles Duffy from ConsenSys.
Hello, good afternoon, Bangkok. How is your ETH Bangkok day so far?
Great. We have lots of people joining up. Great panels this morning. If you are just jumping in, everything is going to be live on YouTube. If you sign up for the event, we will send you a link with all the YouTube videos. And right now, you can view it live on Facebook as well. We have also Kun Sataphon who joined, and Kun Yarnvith. So Kun Sataphon from South Smart Contract Thailand, right?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
And Kun Yarnvith from KBTG who joined. And Kun Yarnvith, you might be on mute.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Yeah.
Hey,
Great.
Yarnvith.
Great. So we have everyone. We are ready to get started. I think it's a panel where we're going to talk about the Enteprise blockchain. Drop your questions in the chat. Don't be shy. Only the attendees can see your questions. And we'll make sure to take them during the session. So let's get started.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Yarnvith. My nickname is Park. Basically, right now I'm working on blockchain for like a past 5 years already. Today, for me, it's a really good day for me to sit on the other side of the table to be the moderator for this one. Otherwise, I've got so many questions, and
it's a scary day for us. It's a scary day for us.
But anyway, for this session, I think for most of the panelists here is basically a celebrity in this blockchain space anyway. No need for introduction. But anyway, for the one who just joined the blockchain space, maybe can you guys introduce yourself and your company and how you start your journey in blockchain? Let's start with Charles.
Okay, thank you so much, Park. So my name is Charles Duffy. I'm the director of ConsenSys here in Hong Kong, and I also lead all the business development and partnerships for Asia Pacific. ConsenSys is the leading blockchain engineering company on Ethereum, and my journey on blockchain started in 2011 when I saw an article on Bitcoin, and I was really into distributed computers and downloading music and movies, like maybe some of you were doing at the time. So I was very familiar with peer-to-peer network. And then this article was mentioning about peer-to-peer money. And I said, oh, peer-to-peer, I know that. So I started to read about Bitcoin. And then I fall into the rabbit hole, I guess. And that's about it. My interest restarted in 2015 when Ethereum came in. And then there was a lot of conversation again. It was not only a distributed ledger, but there was smart contract capabilities. And this really brought my attention. I started to study about blockchain early in 2016 with one of the first online class I could find on the internet, which was B9 in London. So I took some class over there and get a certificate because I felt I really wanted to push this topic and try to integrate it into my career. And here I am now. After being with the Hong Kong government as head of fintech, I joined ConsenSys to start the Hong Kong office and building every day.
Okay, surprisingly, actually, I took the class on Bit9 as well. So, so it's like during that time, it's like the only class that you can find, right? So
yes, that was the very early days, right? So there was just nothing. And someone told me, look at B9. I was like, B9? And we find it at the same time. So learning. So.
Okay. Same question. Guillaume, maybe can you introduce yourself to us?
Sure. So my name is Guillaume Le Saint, and I'm the founder of Atato. So we are a company based in Bangkok. We develop software on blockchain. And my journey into blockchain is a bit similar to Charles. My background basically was on the enterprise IT side. So I used to be the CIO of a company here. And I think it's 2011 that I heard about Bitcoin also, probably some news article. And then I think I started experimenting with it in 2013, really, when I basically used Bitcoin to buy something for the first time. And that was really a wow moment. I really remember buying a Trezor, actually, and making the transaction, scanning a QR code on Trezor's website, and having my Bitcoin go through, and that was done. And I was like, wow, it actually works, and it's so simple and not super fast, but so efficient and elegant. And so that was really a wow moment. And then I learned about Ethereum when the white paper came up, and basically was involved in the early day as a debugger, if you want. Some of you might remember Mist at that time. So we were working on the early Ethereum clients, and that's how I got involved with Ethereum. And then in 2017, we had all this great ecosystem of tools that started coming up. And that's the moment where I decided to basically start Atato. I thought, okay, the tech was mature enough now to take it to production for clients. And that's what we've been doing with Atato since. So that's my journey into blockchain,
Yeah, interesting. So what about Kun Bang? So can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pipak. Call me Bang or Sataphon. I'm founder of Smart Contract Blockchain Studio. We are a leading blockchain tech company in Thailand. We focus on providing consultancy and blockchain and smart contract development for enterprise and government across Asia. Our customers are including SCG Logistics, Toyota Leasing, EGAT, Ministry of Public Health, and SME Bank. My journey into blockchain arena starts around 4 to 5 years ago, or to put it into context, one Ethereum was $10 at that time. And I regret that. I regret that I haven't bought it enough. My first DevCon was at Shanghai. That's where I met Pipak. It started as I regularly evaluated what would be the next technology that will change the world. And at that time, I found blockchain and have been in love with distributed ledger since then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So on the side note, I think Ruben started early. After I could bang for Guillaume and Charles, did you invest in Bitcoin earlier, like in 2011 or something? Have you?
I just want to test the water, what to get to know what it is. And I should have bought more.
Okay, all right. So goes to the first question. Usually I got a lot of question when we talk about the enterprise blockchain, right? So why do we actually need enterprise blockchain? I mean, doesn't all the company has some trust already in terms of trust? Because right now we basically we have a paper-based contract, old-fashioned paper-based and document, legal document and all. And funny thing is most of the blockchain project right now still requiring the bilateral or a contract anyway. So how does that how you gonna answer this question? These are the questions. I got the questions a lot. I take this question to Guillaume first.
Yeah, it's a great question, and really it comes back to what's the problem that we are solving here. What are we doing all of this, and what's the point? And I think if your company exchanges information or value with a large number of participants, people or other companies, then what you're doing is essentially, going back to what Charles was saying, is essentially you're building a distributed computer. And the way we've done that in the past was having different servers that talk to one another, having some manual process to reconcile things and audit things and verify that all those complex systems were working. And so if you have this problem of exchanging value and information with large number of parties, blockchain is a great, very efficient, very cost-effective, very secure solution to this problem. And so generally that's, you know, the angle of how to get into blockchain. And practically what this means is, for example, for Smart Contract Thailand, the project done with IGAT, for example, maybe tokenizing energy, or projects done with Toyota Leasing, I think we're on bonds. So then you can start to exchange value with large number of participants. Or recently, like ConsenSys has been involved with CBDC, for example, for Bank of Thailand. And so when you have this sort of problem, turn to blockchain, there's going to be some exciting stuff in store for you.
I see. What about Charles? So what do you think? Why we still need the legal contract for the blockchain project?
I think blockchain projects in enterprises are getting more and more meaningful because companies are getting more and more global and more digital. And if you look and if you want to apply blockchain to your very local ecosystem, there is obviously use cases, but sometimes you trust already the counterparts, or sometimes you already have like kind of habits and control and everything. So blockchain only accelerates things, but it's not really creating or solving a real problem. But when your companies are starting to expand and they go cross-border and start to deal with companies overseas, then you very often miss this trust component. You're not sure that the counterpart is stable. You're not sure the counterpart is trustable, and that's where the technology brings really something. And probably, Park, maybe if I can add some thoughts here, and be a little bit kind of picky. Maybe we don't need enterprise blockchain. Maybe we need blockchain enterprises. And these blockchain enterprises will be the winners. So if you want to remain an enterprise and you just want to use new pipe, it's like if you're just upgrading to a mobile phone from 2G to 5G. That's better. Yeah. But how about if you become a blockchain enterprise? How about if you start to look at the global network of Ethereum, for example? How about if you look at organizing your company totally differently, based on blockchain principle and foundations? Suddenly you become a blockchain enterprise rather than a consumer of enterprise blockchain software. So I think we are at this moment where companies are starting to benefit. It's a journey. We should not expect the people to move very quickly from one state to another, but we definitely see rising blockchain enterprises. And in countries like Thailand, when you've got regulations which are very proactive, when you are a good competition, when we have very digital first society, I think these blockchain enterprises are starting to blossom. And I suspect they will have a very, very bright future.
So that's quite interesting idea. So basically you're saying that instead of like have a legalized entity, but why don't we use the technology itself to make a legalized entity, right? So in that sense, like the DAOs are doing, right?
Yeah, it can be the DAO, but you can remain, for example, a registered company in Thailand the normal way.
Right.
But you might have a vision for your company to use blockchain as a principle in your business, and you become suddenly an enterprise living on the blockchain, an enterprise working with blockchain first, rather than an enterprise which is pulling blockchain into your daily operations.
I see. That's a great idea. So, well, Kun Bang, so do you think like why do you still need the paper-based legal document for the blockchain project? I mean,
yes, likewise, I also have been challenging by this question from customer throughout my blockchain journey. And I think my answer would reflect what other people already said. I think trust is the cornerstone of every business. And yes, paper documents and handwritten signature was enough in the old day. And even today, in very few cases, they are enough. But as customers, business partners, and ecosystem evolve, they become more and more digital and more fragmented and more distributed. Trust is therefore getting more networked and more complex. So in business doing today, a better and algorithmic mechanism of trust is needed for, I think, every business to be better at what they are doing and maybe better at what their competitors do. And I think this is the key value proposition that blockchain can bring to enterprise.
So for Kun Bang, so right now, in your opinion, like right now, I have seen so many blockchain adoption in Thailand. So what do you think is the key drivers that makes us so successful in Thailand?
Can I say peer pressure that they see the competition to do something?
That's a good answer, actually.
No, but I see something. I think I noticed something interesting in the shift of how business start thinking about blockchain. Previously, it's always be a innovation team trying to introduce the new tech into the company, and so previously blockchain project, especially in Thailand, it started as a pilot or started as a POC for business, and they rarely involved it with business team. But today, I'm starting to see that the project start with the business team, start with the customer side, that they want a better service. And so they're looking for a technology that can help them solve the customer pain. And in some cases, blockchain is the answer. I think this is a very interesting trend that first, enterprise, especially in the business side, start to understand more about technologies. And the enterprise as a whole start to understand how they should introduce the tech into the company and into the market.
Okay, good point. So for Guillaume, so do you think like Thailand right now is like in comparison to other countries, are we like a good places, like the better places than in other country right now? We were in a unique position. What kind of difference that does it make that Thailand so unique? Yeah.
Right. So one of the hypotheses of starting Atato, and one of the assumptions is that yes, we are in a unique position. And I would say that there are two components for that. The first one is on the regulatory side. Because of most of the users of blockchain today are in finance, there's a strong regulation component in anything that you do finance related. And with this Royal Decree on digital asset established in 2018, although it doesn't cover the full spectrum of what you can do with digital assets, at least it gave confidence to enterprises in the country to say, okay, I can explore blockchain, I can start to learn more about it. The regulator has said that this is something that is possible, that you can get a license and you can experiment with it. So I think the push coming from the authorities really kickstarted, in my opinion, the adoption by large corporations. And then, coming from the enterprise IT side, also the second strong point, I would say, is that basically I was running before an IT department where we were, contacting with buyers, sellers, audit agencies, various number of parties. And the digitalization of processes, it's still quite new, compared to maybe other countries where IT systems were implemented earlier and which had more time to develop all those digitalization, especially on the back office processes. And therefore, when you're a company looking at back office digitalization today, you have an option of going the traditional route and, talking to Oracle and SAP and having 50 consultants build APIs. Or you have another option, which is to say, okay, how about I use something like blockchain to power my business network? And with this combination of regulation and the drive for back office digitalization, which in many companies is still new, I think that this is a strong combination for the adoption of enterprise blockchain here.
I see. So in summary, so basically one thing is the regulation. I do think like regulation in Thailand, regulators like SEC and BOT really support on blockchain project. I'm with you on that one. And the other good point, I think that's right now in Thailand, most of the companies are basically try to digitize their processes, right? That's what you're saying. And we are in the right moment to choose like whether to go just do just normal stuff or using blockchain, right?
Absolutely.
So what about Charles? In terms of like in comparison from Thailand and other like Asian country, for example, in Hong Kong or any other other countries in Europe or maybe in in other continent. So what do you think, like in terms of Thailand, how we rank in terms of like readiness of blockchain adoption for enterprise?
I will definitely echo Guillaume's comment. I think it's a fair question you have here, Park. People always think that the grass is greener on the other side of the field. And sometimes we think, oh, wherever I'm living, it's not really the best, and another place is better. But the reality is, I think, is Thailand is very advanced. As Guillaume mentioned, there is regulations, there is peer pressure, as was mentioned earlier, and there is also a digital society which is building super fast. So it brings really, I think, an unfair advantage for Thailand, which you're definitely building on. And if you look at your regulators, people at the BOT have been working with Hong Kong, for example, as soon as 2018-19. So you can see that from your governments already and your regulators, there is this understanding of the technology. There is an understanding that the technology should not be developed only alone, but already with some counterparts. And the example of Hong Kong is one. The Hong Kong collaboration on blockchain is one example. ConsenSys is also has been awarded this POC phase 2 of the project Internon Lion Rock, and it really shows how CBDCs are envisioned by the regulators in Hong Kong and the regulator in Thailand with BOT, and how they want to keep progressing into these programs. So there was a corridor to exchange the Hong Kong dollar and the Thai baht built in the phase 1. Ethereum is a technology chosen for the phase 2, and there is a much more ambitious plans over there. So be patient. I think by the end of the program, our respective regulators will publish reports. But when CBDCs, which is really the beginning of the value chain in finance, when they will be launched, when the time is right, when the regulators decide to go for it, it will have a very deep impact on all enterprises. And it's really good for any company, should it be in Thailand, in Hong Kong, or elsewhere, to start the learning curve. And we see over the media and the press that there is many companies in Thailand which are experimenting. They are learning, and they are building this experience, which will allow them to have a very strong leadership in the very near future in this core competencies that is blockchain and Ethereum technology.
I see.
And I think there is talent also. Sorry to interrupt. What is important is when you see all these companies in Thailand starting to implement, starting to experiment, they're not only progressing or getting like press release and press, but they're also getting teams and engineers internally, which are familiar. They get their hands on, they learn to code, they learn to build distributed networks, they learn to build and shape a business blockchain network. And this is something which is really amazing to see. And the pace of Thailand is surely amazing, and it makes many people dreaming about it in their respective countries.
I see. That's really good, like insight. Because I want to say like from other point of view, like from other countries, like what you said, like it's people usually think that the other side of the wall is greener, right? The glass on the other side is be greener. So, but right now I think like most people doesn't actually realize that actually blockchain adoption in Thailand is quite advanced and in comparison to other countries. So yeah, thank you for confirming that question for me. So since we are talking about like use cases in Thailand, we are doing ahead of other countries, right? So can you name like a couple of use cases that you think that from top of your head that okay, this is the use case that are really interesting and you want to share? So let's take that to Kun Bang.
Wow, a lot of project is coming to my mind, but on the very top of my mind is the Internon project CBDC that from the Bank of Thailand, and I have to congratulate to ConsenSys for the cooperation with Central Bank of Thailand. Very exciting.
Atato.
Yes, very exciting, and we are very looking forward to what will be the outcome. The reason I think this is at least to me, it is the most exciting because I think it is the closest to mass adoption of both cryptocurrency and also blockchain technologies. And I can't wait to see the effect. I believe result will be good because ConsenSys help us to bring the great technology to the scene. But the effect is what I'm the most looking for. Because it will change the definition of money. It will change how people interact with money. It might create a new token economy and maybe something monetary policy in Thailand, and that is very, very exciting.
Okay, thank you. So
yeah, absolutely. And you know, there's this news coming up just today, for example, Cambodia that decided to go in production with their central bank digital currency. And so it's great that across the region, Project Bakong, it's called. I'm not sure if it's built on Ethereum itself or another blockchain tech, but you know, it's exciting to see that across the region it's being adopted. And I agree with Khun Bang that this is one of the most exciting developments these days. I think there's two reasons for that. The first one is that this is going to enable access to financial products and services for everyone that were before reserved to a certain you know, slice of clients where it made sense economically. For example, if you're you know, an asset management company or broker, there are certain types of products where if you manage them traditionally, it doesn't make sense to offer them for small amounts. So for example, when people want to buy certain units of funds, if you don't have a certain amount of money available, you don't have access to the product. If you don't do complex KYC and AML checks, you don't have access to the products. And then if you want more structured financial products, again, it's only for you know, registered or institutional investors who will do that. And because CBDC will enable the automation of creating those financial instruments, I think we're going to see it become more widely available to the population. And maybe in 2 or 3 years, you know, you will use K+ to buy ICO tokens from your mobile phone, and you will have access to all this ecosystem of financial products, which was kind of, you know, not available to you as an everyday person, as a non-financial institution. So I think that's very interesting to see how you know, new financial products will be available to a broader public. That's one part. And then on the other part, I think that once you have this CBDC, once you have this Thai baht token, you can do really exciting things with it on a business sense. For example, let's say that you know, I'm selling products to a new company that I don't know, I've never done business with them. On a business scenario, typically your customer will not pay you in full. So they might pay you 50% first and then 50% when you deliver things. And so there is a risk on doing business with your clients. You know, what if they don't pay me, for example? Now imagine if we have CBDC and you ask your client to deposit in a smart contract the money that they're supposed to pay you, then you have perfect guarantee that you're going to end up being paid. And you know, this is a simple example for selling something to a customer, but you can imagine how this idea of programmable money can be extended to cover many other business cases. And so I think that's really exciting.
I see. Back to Charles. So since we're talking about the CBDC use case and how it's going to help Thailand and maybe across country as well, are there any other projects that do you think that for Charles, that do you think that it would help expand the Thailand network that we are doing right now to other countries as well?
Yes, I think there is via the stock exchange, there is always a lot of connectivity. So you can think of connecting the country with your currency, the Thai baht, and helping with cross-border transactions. But you can also think of how you can move financial products across the border also, and attract investment in Thailand, and also allow Thailand investors to buy product outside. So I think it gives a great avenue here. There is also a big use case in I think in financing the economy, financing the SMEs. There is ways to create lending products which are much more affordable, quicker to deploy, where the risk is very well managed. So there is a lot of different use cases, and I think all these financial use cases, they will pull also a lot of opportunities for other blockchain use cases, such as digital identity. And when you start to have traction with one strong product, such as the CBDC, for example, I think it's going to call some other benefits of blockchain, such as creating a blockchain-based identity for the user, letting the people manage their privacy better. So this has usually some kind of domino effect. You start with one small use case and it calls for much more. So from enhanced finance, you will get enhanced identity, digital identity, and I think this is for the benefit of all.
So thank you very much for your answers. So since we are in the Ethereum event, right? So I think I need to ask these questions. So in terms of in Ethereum in comparison to other blockchain technology, what do you see is its advantages and its limitation comparing to maybe like a public blockchain or private blockchain? So take that question to Guillaume first.
Yeah, sure. So it's there are many aspects here, but I would say, to me, what's the most important about a technology, when a company like Capricorn or Siam Commercial Bank, or even the country level with the Bank of Thailand, when you want to adopt a technology, there are questions on really the technical product itself. So about things like gas and block time and transactions per second and so on. But in the end, what really matters, in my opinion, is just the size of the ecosystem. When you want to do things at scale, when you want to change the way transactions are done within a country, for example, the technical factor is very important, sure. And Ethereum certainly has some strong points there, probably starting from the fact that it's the oldest smart contract blockchain, right? And then the ecosystem of companies like Atato, like Smart Contract Thailand, like ConsenSys, and also just the mind share of developers, best people in the country is very important. And having people that are familiar with the technology, even if it's not the best, in my opinion, brings more value overall to having the best technology where, yeah, maybe you can do more transactions per second or the block time is shorter. But if people are not equipped and if the ecosystem is not there to leverage those advantages, I think that no value will end up being gained. And therefore, the size of Ethereum ecosystem today, in my opinion, is its biggest advantage compared to competitions. There are other new technology coming up. There are people that want to tackle the cross-blockchain communication, right? Maybe you've heard of Cosmos, Polkadot. There are some people who want to change the core blockchain infrastructure, like Tezos, for example. And then there are some other technology on the private side, like Fabric and Corda, which are very suitable for certain niche cases in banking and secure document exchange, for example. Right. But when you look at the scale of a country, I think that you need to look at the size of the ecosystem of the tech, and therefore that's why we're working exclusively on Ethereum today at Atato.
I see. So Khun Bang, do you think that for enterprise in Thailand right now, would it be likely to go moving from a private network, mostly that's what we are doing right now, right, to the public network?
To me, I have to start with my thesis or my idea is that enterprise blockchain or government blockchain doesn't mean have to be private. It can be public, depend on the use case. So even right now, I have a few projects with a enterprise that use public blockchain because that fits the problem they want to solve and the technology fit what they really need. So my answer to this question is they already moved to public blockchain, and if they are in private blockchain and want to move to public one, that is very interesting question because it might require a new set of technologies if they if they didn't choose the technology well enough at the beginning. And I think what will drive is the business, and also at the bottom line, ROI will always the key point to make the decision. If moving from private to public costs X amount of money, but they can generate a 10x amount of money, that will be a green light to migrate from private to public, and that will be a hard work for Atato, for smart contract to migrate technologies.
Right. So I think we are short on time. So I think like the last question to go to three of you guys is that what are your main prediction for blockchain for enterprise in the next 2 or 3 years? Charles.
This will be totally invisible and everywhere. Enterprise blockchain will just blend into the experience of the users. The enterprise blockchain will become as familiar to the users as the ERP or the CRM can be, and people will start using blockchain without even knowing. So well, the solution have been integrated by companies such as Atato and Smart Contract Island and many others, and so much the benefits and the product have been well shaped by banks, by regulators, or by payment providers. So my guess is that many people will not be aware that they are using blockchain, yet they will be using blockchain everywhere.
Okay. What about Guillaume?
Yeah,
So,
I completely agree with what Charles has been saying, and just like the internet, today when you open K+ or when you use Facebook,
you don't even know how internet works, right? Basically,
and you don't want to learn about TCP/IP and all this stuff, and I think that's where we achieve success really. And I think one interesting thing that we're going to see, going back to what Charles was saying about, there is blockchain for enterprise, and how about blockchain enterprise? Or I think, for example, what we're seeing in Thailand with BCI, the Blockchain Community Initiative, is really interesting because we have this weird company object, if I can say, where you have 22 banks that came together and said, all right, we're going to build a platform, finance it together, and use it together to exchange documents, because we all benefit from that. And I think this is quite a new object on the business space. I think we're going to see more and more of those platforms and consortium chains and consortium businesses being built. And I think that they will play a more and more important part in trade. And I think that just like we've seen, companies like Amazon, for example, be basically the platform for all fast-moving consumer goods, right? I think we're going to see similar platform emerge for things like trade finance. For example, ConsenSys has done some work with Congo, Coventis there, just as BCI for document exchange, and probably, what EGAT has been doing, maybe with MEA, PEA. So you're going to have those new entities, like shared businesses. And I think that's something really exciting that is going to transform the way we do business in the next 2 to 3 years, in my opinion.
I see. Good, Bang. So same questions.
Wow, that's very interesting. And I'd like to echo what Charles said before. I believe in the next 2 or 3 years, blockchain will be a core backbone or infrastructure of many companies in Asia, and I believe in Thailand. And also, I think in the future, I really believe that DAO and DeFi will be a norm. That it will be a norm that you don't need a registered company, you don't need a company or registered address to conduct a business or to offer a service to people. DAO, DeFi, and smart contract can fulfill that need already. And one thing I really hope we can see in the term of 3 years, maybe 2 to 5 years, is a cross-blockchain communication, because I think that will be the pain point after every major group of business start implement blockchain into their business, and they eventually need to talk to other organizations who, unluckily, they implemented different protocol of blockchain. How they can cross communication between these two protocols, not only the value like tokenization, and also how the state and smart contract and the trust can be transferred between blockchain. That I think will be the challenging year for every one of us.
Yeah, definitely. transferring trust between blockchain that are going to be like the key main thing within these 2 years, right? Because like Guillaume said, we have a lot of chain network that is popping up, right? But how can we work across together? That's going to be like really challenging part. So actually we got some question which is quite interesting. So one is can you name some of the project that you are working on? So maybe Guillaume.
Sure. So it's recently there's been a press release, for example, this morning that ConsenSys was working with the Bank of Thailand on CBDC. We're very happy to be involved and to have our small contribution on running this project. And so, very happy to bring Ethereum CBDC to Thailand, for example.
I see. For Charles, I think that that's a long list of answers, right?
ConsenSys is a large company, and we have a global footprint also. So obviously, we work with BOT here. We work with the HKMA on CBDCs. We are helping also some banks to build their digital asset custody and their STO platforms. There is a lot of works and demand right now around the bonds. How can you issue bonds and how can you make bonds available to larger market size? So a lot of use case around financial services usually. And back in Europe, we are busy with ConsenSys, busy with Comgo. We are tokenizing real estate as well. So multiple use cases and really a momentum which is always accelerating. And we have DeFi also. So in DeFi, we are supporting a lot of companies with security audits, with tools, and there is also a MetaMask which have been also kind of incorporating some more DeFi components. So DeFi will be is obviously very innovative, and people have to be careful when they get involved with DeFi. But out of this creativity, I think there is some pieces of code and there is some pieces of infrastructure which will remain and which will be used in the near future by many regulated financial institutions. So DeFi is a topic which keeps ConsenSys also very busy.
I see. That's why I think that you have like the long list of question answers for this one, right? I think you have so many projects on your hand right now. Okay. So, Kun Bang, what about you? So,
smart contract
project they were working on, yeah.
Will be a lot shorter than ConsenSys, but I think it is interesting in its own way. We smart contract do provide the bond platform for companies in Thailand. So there will be more to come in the future. And right now we are working with Ministry of Public Health to help connect the patient data, patient records that allow doctors and hospitals and also regulators, patients to access to the health record that is fragmentedly stored across countries. Also, another project that I would like to bring up here is the tokenization of education and also the intellectual properties that a field project that we are working on.
I see.
Congratulations, those are great use cases. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's very good. So I think that's all the time that we have, right? So actually there's one question, but so
about education, right?
Yeah, about education. So like if you want to get started in the blockchain for enterprise, how you study for that one. So I think like Charles and I have mentioned, we study on B9 and getting to know on blockchain, right? And I think the one other good resources would be definitely ConsenSys Academy, right? Yeah, that's another good one. So any other suggestion that you have in mind for sure, a student to get in? Yeah.
If I can jump in on that one, so I would say start with 1milliondevs.com. If you're a developer, you want to learn about Ethereum, 1milliondevs.com. We'll put the link in the chat. This is a collection of tools and resources to help you get started. If you prefer face-to-face meeting, there is the Bangkok Enterprise Blockchain Meetup. We meet monthly. This is the special edition online for this month, right? So, feel free to come, usually on Thursday evenings, and meet the community and, get to learn how you can get started on blockchain. And yeah, we always welcome people. So if you want also to present what you've been doing, please get in touch with Bangkok Enterprise Blockchain team.
Guys, any other thing to add?
Maybe you can start with the good sponsors of this event. If you look at the Ethereum Foundation website, there is a lot of content available. Right. ConsenSys has been mentioned. Thank you for that. Atato has also his newsletter and content. OMG Network has great content. Kaleido, Aave. So I think it's really amazing to see how this event, ETH Bangkok, has been rising, and the support it's getting from all these sponsors. So everyone is committed and betting big on the Thai ecosystem. So don't be shy, reach out, raise your hand, ask questions. The community is just really one of the advantages of the Ethereum ecosystem. So leverage it.
All right, that's pretty much our time. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kunpeng.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining and for the questions.
Bye.
Bye.